What's up guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be showing you guys how to catch night crawlers. At night obviously, you can't even see anything besides me. But yeah, I'm going to be showing you guys what you need to catch these night crawlers, and then I'm going to show you how to store the night crawlers. But first of all, if you're new to my channel, I mainly make bass fishing videos. I rarely use live bait anymore, but I also have a pet bluegill which requires lots of live bait. But anyway guys, I'm going to get right into the video. First off, I'm going to show you guys what you need. So guys, the most important thing you need is a flashlight. Right now I'm just going to use my phone for recording purposes. I'm going to record on my phone so that the video is actually better. But if you want to be the most effective and be able to use two hands, I would recommend getting a headlamp. That's what I usually use, but since I'm recording today, I'm going to be using my phone. But yeah guys, you only really need two things, and this is a very simple process. And second, you just need something to put the worms in. And then there's a whole nother process of storing the worms afterwards. That's a whole nother thing. I'll get to that after I catch them. But first I'm going to show you guys where to catch them, how to catch them, and then afterwards I'll get to where to put them once you're done catching them. Alright guys, first things first, you're going to want some sort of wet ground. If you try to go night crawling when it hasn't rained in over a week, there's a very low % chance that you will catch any night crawlers. But as you guys can see behind me, the concrete's wet and it just got done raining. I waited a little bit to record so that my camera wouldn't get drenched. But yeah guys, I got my flashlight. I'm gonna switch over to this camera and I'll show you guys how to catch them. Alright guys, the best places to find night crawlers is gonna be the mud. So if you have any woods in your backyard, that would be the best spot. But there's also a lot of other places that night crawlers could be. So you're gonna wanna look for wet places. Obviously, these rocks aren't the best spot to look, but they are wet. And I'll show you that doesn't necessarily matter exactly where you're looking as long as it's wet. You can see right here, dry rocks. That is not a place you want to look. You want to look for the wet areas. As you can see, the rocks are not going to be the best spot to look for worms, but as you can see, there will still be some. And I'll show you the techniques of grabbing them, but when they're on rocks or flat surfaces, as you can see, there's one right here, just chilling on the concrete. And if you go on the night it rains, they're going to be everywhere. So it's not going to be hard at all to find them. But if you're going like a night or two after it rains, you'll still be able to catch them. You'll have to look for them a little harder. But they'll be in all different sizes. Sometimes they'll be big, sometimes they'll be a little one. That one's a really small one. But for me, it doesn't matter what size because I have a pet bluegill and he likes the smaller ones and the bigger ones have to split in half. So for me, it doesn't matter, but obviously the grass is gonna be your next best spot to look besides the mud, because the grass, underneath the grass is mud obviously. It's just a little harder to find them when you're sifting through all the grass. But what you want to look for is the glowing, and that's going to be the slime on the worm that's going to be glowing from your flashlight. You just want to grab down and then pull at the base. That one's a really small, that wasn't a very good one to have an example with. Here's a bigger one. So what you're going to want to do is you see how he just shot that way? That means that the hole is over there. So you're going to want to grab at the base of the hole, and then you're going to want to very gently pull them out of that hole. Because if you pull too hard, you're going to split them in half. But as you can see, it came out in one piece. It's a pretty big one right there. And they're loaded in the grass. So if you have grass with some pretty healthy soil, like if you have really dry soil, like kind of rocky soil, it's not going to be the best. But when you have wet grass and wet soil that's really soft, that's going to be a key place to look. I have mud, I have woods that's way over there, but it's like way over there and it doesn't matter. And I don't need to go way over there since there's obviously worms right here. Like everywhere you look, bam, there's another one. You can just pull them right up. It's not very hard. The catching part isn't hard at all, but the next step is really what you're going to want to pay attention to. But yeah guys, I'm just going to fill up this container. These were just the worms I caught in the last 3 minutes while I was explaining to you guys. So I'm going to go out, go hardcore for like 10 minutes probably, come back. I'll show you guys how much worms I collected, and then I'll go inside and show you guys how to store these worms. Alright guys, I'm in the basement now. I'm going to show you guys what to do after you catch the night crawlers. Also, one thing I forgot to mention before is when you're catching the night crawlers, make sure you don't accidentally split one. And if you do split one, just let it go. Because if you do split one and it goes in your worm farm, which is what I'm going to talk about next here, it can end up ruining your entire thing just for one worm. It's not worth it. Just throw it back, just let it die or get eaten by a bird. But yeah guys, this is what I got for worms today. I did not get very very many. Like I said, I only spent like 10 minutes since it's like 11 o'clock on a school night. But yeah, guys, there's two ways to store worms once you collect them. If you're just going to use them for like the next day, let's say you go bluegill fishing the next day and you just want it for like one day, like you go night crawling, then the next day you want to go fishing, then it doesn't really matter. Then you could grab like a dozen or two depending on how long you fish or what you're fishing for. You could just grab the night crawlers, throw it in a container, throw it in the fridge for the night, and they'll be just fine. If you want to use these for long term, like me for example, you're going to want a worm farm. You can make your own for very cheap. I just happened to get this for Christmas a few years ago. Otherwise, I have a few that I made. That's actually a protein powder container that I turned into a worm farm. So yeah, you can do that yourself. I'll probably make a whole separate video on that because that'll take a while. But basically, if you're watching this video before that video comes out, basically you can just take a container, anything like this size or bigger, depending on how much worms you have, and you just fill it up with like soil, and then you want to buy some you can buy some worm feed, and that's pretty cheap. But yeah, I have an actual box here, so that's what we're going to use for this video. And as you can see, it's got some nice soil. The reason I would need a worm farm is because obviously I'm not going fishing tomorrow. And even if you do and you want these for long term, let's say you catch like a few hundred, just so you only have to do it once a year or something, you could just, there's many reasons you want a worm farm besides just throwing them in your fridge. But either way is fine. Basically, you just want a worm farm. You want soil. You want to put water in it every I'd say month, just a little splash of water just to keep it from being dry. As you can see here, this is pretty dry. I should probably put some more water. It's getting close time of the month where I need to put some water in it. As you can see here, I have about 4 dozen worms here. Like I said, usually when I catch worms, I catch like double, sometimes triple this. And yeah, basically you just put it in your worm farm or put it in the freezer, whatever you want to do. Just make sure they're not split. It doesn't matter if you're putting in the fridge for the next day, because that won't matter. But if you're keeping them for over 2 or 3 weeks, then you're gonna definitely want to keep them from splitting. Bad guys, you just mix them around in there, should be good. And also, if you don't want to buy worm feed, you could also put like a little bit of lettuce, some stuff like that, because at least it'll be something for them to eat. And then yeah, eventually they will mate in there if you leave them in there for long enough. Around a month they'll probably mate, so be expecting some baby worms as well. And yeah guys, that's how you store your worms. If you have any questions that I didn't already answer in this video, please drop them down below. I will respond to all of your questions usually within 24 hours. Also, if you found this video helpful, please make sure to drop a like. It really helps out the videos. And if you guys like bass fishing or fishing in general, make sure to hit that red subscribe button, turn it gray, and hit that post notification bell so you don't miss another video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all next week.